Alrighty, everybody, what is happening? Today we're back. Today it's time for week 8. I'm gonna try and make this a faster video, but let's be honest, I say that like every week and it really never happens. The reason is because tonight, Tuesday night, is also the same night as Game 1 of the 2021 World Series. It is 6:51 p.m. right now, and the game begins at 7:07 p.m., so that's 18 minutes away from first pitch. And I know I'm not going to finish the video in 18 minutes, but I'm going to try and do what I can to finish it in 18 minutes. So we're going to try and make this as fast as we can, even though, it still probably won't be that fast. So here we go. Week 8 is coming up. We have 2 teams on the bye this week. We have the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders. So what is going to happen is right now I'm going to pull up the current playoff picture and use that as my base for today's video. If I sound a little different, I was didn't feel that great this past weekend. I had a really dry throat and, it's better, but it's still there a little bit. So here we go. We have on bye this week, like I said, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens. Currently, the Raiders are sitting at second in the AFC with a record of 5 wins and 2 losses. They played the Philadelphia Eagles and took a win this past week by a final score of 33-22. We also on bye, the only other team is the Baltimore Ravens. They have a record of 5 wins and 2 losses and are 5th in the AFC. They dropped 4 spots. In week 7, they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals like I predicted. And if you don't believe that I picked the Bengals, let's roll the tape.
I just feel like an upset special could be in this game. Both teams here are good. Both teams are putting up good outings so far. Bengals have really showed great improvement this year. And the Ravens are the Ravens, but they have almost lost some games that they won, that they almost lost. So that is why I'm going Bengals with the upset special of the week.
Yeah, just like that. I called it. I said Bengals will beat the Ravens. Upset pick of the week. And I guessed it. I didn't guess it, actually. I knew it. I'm sorry. So, yeah. There you go, everybody. Ravens on bye. Raiders on bye. Both teams are in the playoff picture, so that brings us to Thursday Night Football. Thursday night, we have a really good matchup. As a Minnesota Vikings fan, of course, it's going to be a game I'm tuned in to see, as I will be home and not working, so I will be watching this game. It is the Green Bay Packers going up against the Arizona Cardinals this week. The Green Bay Packers are coming off of a win over the Washington football team. They beat them pretty easily, but they also didn't beat them easily at the same time, which sounds weird, and I'm going to tell you why. So, the Packers took a win this week by a score of... Packers won by a score of 24-10, which doesn't sound that close. But here is the thing. Washington had so many missed opportunities in the game, it made me frustrated. So, we are going to... If we can find a website that has all of their missed opportunities, in the red zone, I believe they went 0 for 4. In the red zone. That's 0 points. Not even a touchdown. 0 points. I think. But maybe not. So what happened? For sure, the one time in the end zone, I'm mad about this. It was 3rd and goal. Taylor Heineke, the Washington quarterback and former Vikings player, had an open shot for the end zone. Easy dub. Touchdown. Tie game. And sure enough, the dude, he doesn't trip. He dives in front of the goal line with nobody around. And then his knee was down at the 1-yard line. He had a wide open shot to the end zone. No joke. I'm going to pull up the video and watch it one more time here.
He's given time. He's got room to run. He's looking for the corner. He dives in. Touchdown, Washington. It's a Brett. Oh, my goodness.
Or is he just diving head first? He's not touched.
This is going to be interesting.
The nearest Packer, see, because it was the end zone, you can't really tell how near people were. Boom, I paused it right as he's diving. We're going to say at least 3 yards. The nearest Packers player was 3 yards at least away. And he dove, and he was short of the goal line. And then on 4th down, what happened was they went for it on the 1. Fumble recovered by Heineke, but because it was fumble, you can't advance the ball. And just like that, the Packers got the ball back. Later, Taylor Heineke made a really bad throw, which was an interception. Oh, man, it was bad. There were plenty of big mistakes that the Washington football team made. But enough for that game. The Green Bay Packers in the playoff picture right now are currently sitting as the number 3 seed. They are 6-1 after a win over the Washington football team. The Arizona Cardinals are currently first in the NFC with a record of 7 wins and no losses. They still have not lost a game, and that means you can't unsubscribe because last week I said you can unsubscribe if the Texans beat the Cardinals, but the Cardinals won, so that means you can't unsubscribe. They're first in the NFC West. Again, they took a win over the Texans pretty easy. It was like 35-5 or something, 38-5, something like that. Pretty easy game. As for this game, there's 2 important factors that I have here. Number 1, it's home in prime time for the Cardinals. So far, you just don't want to pick it against a team that is undefeated, and it's a home game, and it's a prime time game. Another important factor is the COVID situation that's going on with the Green Bay Packers right now. Davante Adams yesterday was placed on the COVID list, as well as their defensive coordinator's out for this game for sure. Their number 2 wide receiver, Alan Lazard, is out for this game. And Davante Adams, will he play? Honestly, probably not at this point. With that, I don't even know who their receivers are. Marcos Valdes-Scantling, Equanimeous St. Brown, Tanyan. That's it. Maybe there's more, but that's all I know. But for this game, that is important of a factor, and I do feel like the Cardinals are the better team. I doubted them at first, but I no longer doubt them anymore. I'm going to go with the Cardinals over the Packers, and it's not just because I'm a Vikings fan. Up next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're going up against the not Cincinnati Bengals, against Cincinnati Bengals. That makes no sense. They're going up against the New York Jets this week. Cincinnati Bengals are coming off of a win, like I predicted, against the Baltimore Ravens. They won by a final score of 40-17, question mark. 41-17 was the final score, everybody. It was a really good game. It was a close game all throughout the first half. In the second half, the Bengals took an early lead on a deep pass, I believe, from Lamar Jackson to... who was it? Devin Duvernay, maybe? Or otherwise it was Marquise Brown, but I don't think it was. But I guess I don't know for certain. But this is an important note. What was the other... Oh, Jamar Chase had a great game for the Bengals. Jamar Chase this past week against the Ravens put up 8 catches, 201 yards, and a touchdown. He had an 82-yard touchdown. If you didn't see it, he caught it, basically spin moved. There we go. Is that grammatically correct? I think so. He spin moved out of a tackle and just outraced everyone to the end zone. It was really good play. So, yeah, that's the Bengals. Number 1 seed in the AFC. Did anyone see it coming? No. Did I see it coming? No. I didn't even have the Bengals making the playoffs this year. And they're going up against the New York Jets. The New York Jets are coming off of a loss, I'd assume. Jets are coming off of a loss to the New England Patriots. They, I think, dropped 40 or 50, maybe 50 points on them. The Jets are 13th in the AFC. They have a record of 1-5. The Jets really aren't going to get anywhere, and it makes it even worse. The Jets quarterback, I always forget his name. Zach Wilson. I remember it this time. I'm getting better with it. Jets quarterback Zach Wilson suffered, I believe, a sprained MCL. If that's right. Might not be, though. I believe that was the injury that puts him out for 2 to 4 weeks. which means he obviously will be out for this game. I saw that not in free agency. They traded for Joe Flacco this week. The Jets did, but that's still not going to be enough. Pretty easy choice. I'm going to go with the Bengals over the Jets in this game. Do you guys remember when I said this was going to be a fast video? Well, it's already 7:03, and I'm 2 games in. So now we have the Dolphins and the Bills. As for this game, this is going to be the same next week too, because if the World Series is still going on, it's going to be on next week too. So I'm not going to be able to go super in-depth because I want to see the games, and that's what's important. Here we go. We have got the Dolphins taking on the Bills. The Miami Dolphins are coming off of a loss yet again to the Atlanta Falcons. They lost, I believe, on a field goal toward the end of the game. The Falcons, or not the Falcons, we'll get to them later. The Dolphins currently have a record of 1 win and 6 losses. People thought they would be a playoff team, but it is really not there. This team is likely going to be sellers, and maybe the Vikings can trade for Xavier Howard. You know, I don't think it'll happen, but I would love to see it with Patrick Peterson on the IR. But the Miami Dolphins have really had a struggle fest of a year. It has not been going well for them. Tua Tagovailoa has not been doing great, and the Deshaun Watson trade rumors are heating up just as much now as ever. Last time I made a video, which was last week, supposedly we heard that by the end of last week there would be a trade. Still hasn't happened, but we will see. Report: Dolphins Texans have agreed on a trade, but there are issues remaining. Wow. This is interesting. I'm going to click on the article. I'm going to cut some of this out because I know it's going to be boring for you. So I'm just going to wait and summarize what I read at the end. So I'm reading this right now, and it says that the Dolphins owner has agreed to a trade, and they've agreed. So basically it says the Dolphins and Texans have agreed on compensation, and Ross, which is the Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, has signed off on the deal, but it's on the condition that Deshaun Watson settles his legal issues, which are 22 I'm not going to get into it, 22 accusations of misconduct, and we're not going to get into it here. But interesting because, yeah, it says here he gets, I got an ad. So it says that he settles his legal issues and that he gets some sort of indication from the commissioner, Roger Goodell, as to whether and for how many games he will be suspended, which is interesting. So yeah, it really at this point doesn't mean anything that the Texans and Dolphins have a deal. That really means nothing because what really matters is that whatever Goodell does with him. Why do I feel like today's video is structured more like a podcast than an NFL predictions? But it's true though. This pick is interesting. It says here the compensation package for Watson would likely include 3 first-round picks that the Texans have been seeking, but not likely to be the 2 second-round picks that they also wanted with it. Deshaun Watson has also agreed to waive his no-trade clause, or he would have to agree to waive his no-trade clause, but Miami has been reported as his preferred destination. So the NFL trade deadline is next Tuesday, a week from today, at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then after that, if he's not traded, then he won't be playing for the rest of the year. So this is interesting, though. I did pick up Deshaun Watson again. I might have talked about this last week. I picked up Deshaun Watson in all 3 of my fantasy leagues again after I heard the news that there's a possibility again. You know, I'd want him on my bench, but it is also pending, A, whether a deal happens, or B, whether he's suspended. Because obviously if a deal doesn't happen, then I'm going to release him because that'd be a waste of a roster spot. But interesting to see. So back to this game. Dolphins have really had a struggle fest of the year. Then we've got the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are coming off of their bye week, I believe. Hold on, we'll find them here. The Buffalo Bills are currently 4th in the AFC with a record of 4-2. They're coming off of their bye week, and they did not move in the playoff picture. Kind of an easy choice. The Dolphins are bad. It is really just interesting to see on the Watson trade rumors what's actually going to happen. I would, for my fantasy purposes, I'd hope that something happens, but who really knows at this point? As for the game, though, kind of an easy choice. We're going to go with the Bills over the Dolphins. The Dolphins really haven't shown any signs of life this year, and Tua Tagovailoa has not been doing great. Yeah, not much to say besides that the Bills should be able to take this game with ease. Tennessee Titans are coming off of a win over the Kansas City Chiefs. I did predict a win by the Chiefs, I predicted a win by the Titans, but I did not predict an absolute slaughtering like it happened. 27-3 was the final score. Or no, was it? It was something, no, 28. No, actually, what was it? Hold on. Chiefs. It was, the internet's taking ages to load. 27-3, I was correct, I did say that. Titans absolutely destroyed them. It's funny to say that Derrick Henry did have more passing touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes in this game. We'll get more on the Chiefs later. But as for the Titans side, they looked really good. They were able to show up against my favorite in the AFC this year. Initially, I thought the Chiefs are the favorite in the AFC until, let's be honest, what other team can really beat them in the AFC? And there's no other team that's higher than the Chiefs. But this year, the Chiefs have really taken a declining. We'll get more into it later, like I just talked about. But right now, to me, the Bills are the front runner in the AFC. Titans had a good game. They have been actually doing pretty good this year. They have a record of 5-2. They are third in the AFC, if I did not mention that earlier. I do think that the Titans have improved a lot this year. Beginning of the year, they didn't necessarily start the greatest, but right now they are heating up. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are both back for the team. Derrick Henry is still first in the NFL with rushing yards, and it's really going to be hard to stop this team if they can pick up momentum like they are. As for the other team, I'm trying to tell who it is. The flashlight is shining so bright it's hard. Colts. It's so hard to tell what other team is there. The Indianapolis Colts are coming off of a win over the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday night. The Colts are 10th in the AFC with a record of 3-4. They have clawed back. They did start the year 0-3, and they have actually gotten back. Part of the reason they won, though, could be because of the bad rainy conditions, and Jonathan Taylor is a lot better than all of the San Francisco running backs. As for this game, though, it is hard to trend against the Tennessee Titans in this one. I do like the Titans, and I do like Ryan Tannehill, which would be great because I have him as the starting quarterback in one of my leagues because Lamar's on the bye. As for this game, easy choice. We're going to go with the Titans over the Colts. Interesting match upcoming. It is the Steelers, and it is the Browns coming up next. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Hold on, let me get adjusted here. Okay. Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, are coming off their bye week. They're 8th in the AFC, which means they're technically one spot out of the playoffs as of right now. They have a record of 3-3, and they're coming off of their bye week. Obviously, it is very important that Juju Smith-Schuster is out for the season. That is an important factor. Ben Roethlisberger has not been doing great this year. Really been on the age decline, and I think this certainly will be his final season. Najee Harris has been a bright spot in their offense, as well as TJ Watt has also had a great year as well. As for the Cleveland Browns, they are coming in 7th in the AFC with a record of 4-3. They're coming off of a win. Oh yeah, they won. They're coming off of a win over the Denver Broncos. The team moved up 3 spots. The Steelers moved down 1, by the way. Overall for this matchup, though, major injuries on the Browns side. Jarvis Landry, I do not know when he will be back, but Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry are both out of practice. Nick Chubb, hold on. I got a bunch of ads blocking my view. Oh, where'd it go? And Nick Chubb, Jack Conklin, that's their offensive lineman right there. Nick Chubb is their running back. They have a lot of major injuries here. Baker Mayfield did not practice on Monday. Right now, it does not say what his injury is. On the bright side, it does say Pro Bowl running back Nick Chubb and All-Pro right tackle Jack Conklin both returned to practice. They've both missed 2 games. It is also important to see about Kareem Hunt. I do not know his current status. Baker Mayfield, the quarterback of the Browns, is currently dealing with a completely torn labrum as well as a fractured humerus in his left non-throwing shoulder. This injury sidelined him for Thursday night's win over the Denver Broncos. Case Keenum was the quarterback for this game. It says Mayfield does want to play, but if he can't, then I guess it would be Case Keenum yet again. Jarvis Landry, Denzel Ward, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jadeveon Clowney, J.C. Treader, John Johnson, Malik Jackson, and David Njoku all they didn't practice. So it really doesn't give any clear thinking on whether or not Landry will be playing. Odell Beckham is fine again, as well as, that's about it. As for this game, talent on both teams is there. Obviously, Juju Smith-Schuster's injury is important, and the Steelers have been a major downfall this year. They've not had a great year. Big Ben has not been great this year, and it's just simply not been great for them. On the road, in Cleveland, I'm going to go with the Browns in this game. A lot of this also does fall on whether or not Baker Mayfield plays, but really either way, I still do like the Browns more. So I'm going to go with the Browns over the Steelers. Next up, we have the Eagles and the Lions coming up next. The Philadelphia Eagles are not great this year, but they are better than the Lions. The Philadelphia Eagles are currently toward the bottom of the NFC as far as I know. The Eagles are 13th in the NFC with a record of 2-5. They're coming off of a loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. The only really major injury I believe that I have to report for the Eagles is the fact that running back Miles Sanders will be out for a couple of games, which means Kenneth Gainwell, I forgot the dude's name, I'm sorry. Kenneth Gainwell. And Boston Scott, it looks like, will be taking over the reign for Miles Sanders. I also don't know if I mentioned tight end Zach Ertz last week was traded to the Arizona Cardinals. Don't know if I mentioned that, but I just thought I should. As for the other team here, we have the Detroit Lions. The Lions are coming off of yet another loss, this time to the Los Angeles Rams. I believe they held the lead going into the fourth quarter. I wasn't watching the game. I believe they had the lead going into the fourth quarter, but they for sure had it after the first quarter. I know they started up 10-0, and then they were up later in the game eventually too, before yet again they let the lead slip away and the Rams came back with the win. They are currently last in the NFC with a record of 0-7, which means playoff hopes are gone for them. All they're really eyeing in on... Oh, I just had a shiver. All they're really eyeing in on is the number 1 draft pick at this point. As for this game, you really could go either way with this one. The Eagles are pretty bad, and the Lions are just as bad. The Lions have been losing close games, and the Eagles running back Miles Sanders will be out for a couple weeks. For this game, I actually am going to go, for the first time this year, with the Detroit Lions. I do like the Lions to win their first game. I just have a feeling they've been losing close games all year. They've had leads, they just can't contain them, which sounds like the Vikings. But I do feel like the Lions are just going to be able to take this one this week. So I'm going to go with the Lions over the Eagles for their first win of the year. The Panthers and Falcons are the next matchup we have upcoming. The Carolina Panthers are coming off of their 4th straight loss. The Panthers were trounced by the New York Giants. Sam Darnold, the quarterback of the Panthers, was benched in the game, which is crazy, but honestly, he kind of deserved it. As a Vikings fan, obviously I was watching the Vikings game in Week 6 against the Panthers, and he did not play great. A lot of people are going to say he played great on the last drive where the Panthers tied the game, but that's honestly not really true. The Vikings defense just made big mistakes during that drive. But still, he's not been great, and no wonder he was benched. They started the year 3-0 like we talked about, and they are now sitting at 3-4. They're 10th in the NFC with a record of 3-4 and last in the NFC South. As for the Atlanta Falcons, The Falcons are coming off of a win. Oh yeah, they beat the Miami Dolphins. The Falcons are coming off of a win over the Miami Dolphins. They had the lead most of the game, but they just won it at the end. They have a final record of 3-3 right now. Or they currently have a record of 3-3. They're 8th in the NFC. This is an important game for the Vikings, and you're not going to understand why until I explain it. The reason this is an important game is because right now, this is the playoff picture right now in the NFC. Cardinals, Bucks, Packers, Cowboys, Rams, Saints, and Vikings. And then after that, so the Vikings are 3-3 at 7th. The Falcons are 3-3 in 8th. And then after that, it's the Bears who are 3-4. And let's be honest, do the Bears look good right now? No. They got destroyed this week, which we'll talk about later. Do the Panthers look good right now? No. And they are 3-4 and 10th in the NFC. But it's important to note that the Vikings did beat the Panthers. They have the head-to-head matchup. At 11th is the 2-4 49ers, whom the Vikings play in Week 12 in San Francisco, which is going to be an important game there. The longer we go, the less scary that game looks. It initially looked like, when I looked at the schedule, I was like, oh man, this is NFC Championship repeat. But now it is looking a lot less like that. 49ers have been slipping, and this is a lot more manageable of a game now than it was at the beginning of the year. Niners have been struggling, and then we've got Washington, and they've been struggling. The Eagles have been struggling. The Giants have been struggling. The Seahawks, who are struggling, and the Vikings already have the head-to-head tiebreaker, and then the Lions, we're just not going to comment on that. So right now, it's really an 8-team race at this point. The Cardinals, Bucks, Packers, Cowboys, Rams, Saints, Vikings, and Falcons are really the 8 teams vying for 7 spots at this point. As of right now, the Bears, they could come back, but not if they keep playing like they have. And keep in mind, the Bears do play the Vikings twice this year. Week 15 on Monday Night Football in Chicago, and Week 18 at home. So those are going to be 2 important games. But this game is important because, obviously, the Falcons have a significantly easier schedule than the Vikings. Vikings have a very tough schedule this year. Every team has it tough in a way, but just in a head-to-head matchup here, it is significantly easier for the Falcons, which is why this is an important game, and really every Falcons game moving forward, because the Vikings and Falcons don't play this year. So, obviously it's going to be important for the Vikings to win this week, but it's also going to be important if the Panthers are able to beat the Falcons. So as a Vikings fan, I think we would want the Panthers to win this game. I don't know if I'm missing anything, to be honest. For the Panthers, Chuba Hubbard's still out, or not Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard's taking the place of Christian McCaffrey, who's still out. McCaffrey's going to be out for sure 2 more games. The Atlanta Falcons, not much comment really there. As for this game, I do like the Falcons. They actually do have momentum coming into this, unlike the Panthers. The Panthers have lost really all the momentum that they had, and that is why. And also Sam Darnold is benched because he's not that good. And Christian McCaffrey's out, and it just seems overall like all signs honestly point to the Falcons. So I'm going to pick the Falcons to take their 2nd or 3rd straight win, maybe. I don't remember who the Falcons played 2 weeks ago, which is why I can't comment if they won or not. But I do like the Falcons, and I really do hope that the Panthers win this game, though. But I do like the Falcons, so I'm going to go with the Falcons over the Panthers. The Rams and Texans are coming up next. One team is good, one team is bad, so I don't think this will be that long of a representation. We've got the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are currently 5th in the NFC with a record of 6-1. They're coming off of a win over the Detroit Lions in the Matt Stafford Jared Goff Bowl. The Lions held the lead at various points in the game, but like every game this year, they were unable to close the gap. As for the other team, it is the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are currently last in the AFC with a record of 1-6. They are not doing well at this point. They took a loss to the Arizona Cardinals. And yeah, really nothing's looking good for the Texans at this point. The only thing that does look positive is if they could get serious compensation for the Deshaun Watson trade. And that's really the only thing that's keeping the Texans in the news at this point. aside from the fact that Brandon Cooks is good, but everyone else on their team is not good. I do like it's kind of easy to pick the Rams in this game. Texans are not good at all this year. They're last in the AFC, and the Rams are good this year. They're definitely a Super Bowl contender. So I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. Pretty easy pick over the Houston Texans. The 49ers and Bears are coming up next. The San Francisco 49ers are coming off of a loss on Sunday night against the Indianapolis Colts. The 49ers are 11th in the NFC with a record of 2-4. The 49ers have had some issues this year. Injuries haven't really been a big part, even though Raheem Mostert is who I was thinking. Mostert is out for the season with a knee injury. And that was really all I needed was that right there. 49ers haven't been great this year, and they really haven't been great at all. I saw something interesting that talked about their coach, Kyle Shanahan. In 2019, I believe, was the year he put up a record of 13-3, and they went on to make the Super Bowl. But I don't think they've had a single winning season other than that year. And that is important. Sometimes one year doesn't dictate everything. That's like the Minnesota Vikings in 2017. The team went 13-3, made it all the way to the NFC Championship, and people thought, oh, they brought in Kirk Cousins because they had Case Keenum that year. They brought in Kirk Cousins, and now all of a sudden this team is a Super Bowl contender. And that's not what happened. The team finished the year, I believe, 8-7-1 that year. Didn't even make the playoffs. But that is a lot of what's happening right now with the 49ers. They're really falling this year, and it's hard to see them get their footing back. As for the Chicago Bears, they are coming off of a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got absolutely whooped, and they did what Mike Zimmer doesn't do, which was took a big lead but didn't take their foot off the gas. They just kept going, which is not Mike Zimmer. If the dude's up by 10 points, he lets the other team back in the game because he needs his defense to be the winners, not the offense. Based on the way these two teams played, even though they've really disowned expectations, the 49ers have not been great this year, but this week they actually played somewhat still decently. I mean, it was rainy, it was Sunday night, whatever, but they did not play, atrocious. As for the Bears, let's be honest, they played atrocious. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Vikings fan. If you asked every single team fan in the NFL, they would say that the Bears played bad this week. And that is facts. Jimmy Garoppolo is also back, side note, for the 49ers this week. It's really hard to see, if the Bears play like they did last week, it's hard to see them with any playoff hopes, and it's hard to see them winning this game. And for that reason, I am going to go with San Francisco 49ers. This would be a major game booster for the 49ers, but this would also be a major booster for the Bears. Both teams really do need to win this game, but I do just feel like the overall talent level of the 49ers is better than the Bears. So I'm going to go with the 49ers over the Bears. The Patriots and Chargers are coming up next. The New England Patriots are coming off of a win over the New York Jets this past week. The Patriots are 9th in the AFC at a record of 3-4, but they still really don't seem like they could be a legitimate playoff team right now. The Los Angeles Chargers are coming off of a bye week, I believe. They are at 6th in the AFC with a record of 4-2. It's kind of weird. The Patriots, obviously, like we've talked about, they're coming off of a really big win this past week. But let's be honest. Can you see the Patriots in the postseason? I hope you answered no, because I did as well. It is hard to see the Patriots as a playoff team this year. Is it easy to see the Chargers as a playoff team? Yes, it is easy to see the Chargers. Why? Because they're good. As for this game, though, it is really important to note really the talent level, which is basically what I just talked about. Patriots have been winning games. Some games, they're 3-4. Patriots have been winning some games, but their actually talent level is not there. The Chargers are there, and the Chargers could be making a run again this year. I do think that they should have a better year this year than last year. I like the Chargers in this game, so I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers over the New England Patriots. We have got the Jaguars and Seahawks coming up next. The Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off of a bye week this past week after their win over the Falcons in London. They're 1-5, not good, 14th in the AFC. Seattle Seahawks are 15th in the NFC with a record of 2-5. They're coming off of a loss against the New Orleans Saints this past last night. Talent level is important. Both teams, do they have talent? They do, but the issue really with the Seahawks is obviously Russell Wilson's injured, and that is the main key. Jaguars have not been great all year. Obviously, Urban Meyer's not been setting a great example. The team just simply hasn't been that good, and let's be honest, how long will it take before they're good? I really don't know. Seahawks looked like they were going to be a playoff team this year. Well, not necessarily. I know people are going to say whatever, no, they're not a playoff team, but let's be honest. I didn't say a Super Bowl team. I just said a playoff team. And I viewed them as that. They maybe an outside shot, but they certainly had a chance. But they're sitting at 2-5, last in the brutal NFC West. This is a must-win game, obviously. Really, every game for them at this point is must-win. But it's really hard to see them get much going. Geno Smith is in at quarterback for the Seahawks, as Russell Wilson is still out. And I believe he'll be out until week 10, maybe, which means 2 more games of him being out. Kind of easy to not side with him because the quarterback's out, but let's be honest, it's the Jaguars. Crazy to say, but the reason I'm going to pick this is because the Jaguars are coming off of a bye. Due to the reason of bye week, not because of Urban Meyer's coaching, because it's not there. We're going to go with the Jaguars in this matchup. Seahawks have really not been great with expectations this year. I need help finding a word. This is going to sound weird, but you're going to get it in just a second. I'm trying to think of the word like exceeded. Like if you exceed expectations, then you you're substantially above your expectations. By exceeding them, you're above them. But what does it mean if you're substantially below? Like, is there a word for that? Because it's not like proceeding, because that's different. There's proceeding and preceding, and so yeah, please comment down below. Is there a word for like below average? Let me know, please. But as for this game, I guess I'm going to go with the Jaguars. Seahawks have not been good all year. Jaguars have not been good all year. But the bye week is really the only reason. And I don't know why else. I guess I'm going to go with the Jaguars because why not? The Washington football team is coming up next, and they are facing the Denver Broncos this week. The Washington football team, like I talked about earlier in the video, is coming off of a loss to the Green Bay Packers. Major mistakes were made, and it is definitely a game they could have won. The Washington football team is 12th in the NFC with a record of 2-5. They're second in the NFC East, meaning their only chance at making the postseason at this point, let's be honest, is winning the division, and that's going to be tough with Dallas. So Washington's outlook, not good at this point. As for we already kind of covered Washington when we talked about the Packer game earlier. So as for the other team in this matchup, it is the... Sorry, I can't see it. Oh, Broncos, I remember now. The Denver Broncos, they're coming off of another loss this week to the Cleveland Browns on Thursday night. That was their 4th straight loss. The team started the year 3-0, and now they're 3-4. They're 12th in the AFC. The Broncos honestly aren't out of it at this point. They still have a shot. They still have talent. As for the Washington football team, let's be honest, they are kind of out of it. Yeah, it has not been going great for them. They've also had a tough break recently for the Broncos, but I do figure that in this game, they should be able to get it back. So I am going to go with the Broncos over the Washington football team. Alright, so my flashlight just turned off on my phone, which is what I was filming on. Happy iPhone 6S up in here. But I'm just saying the flashlight turned off, so I'm sitting significantly closer to the camera now. Because also just letting you know, obviously, you can't really... I mean, I can kind of zoom in on it here if I turn off the brightness of my computer. Let's be honest, you can't really see the teams that well. So I'm just going to kind of... You don't need to see them. I'm just going to talk more. So, yeah. I already gave my analysis on this game. I do think that the Broncos should be able to take this one. The Washington football team is super inconsistent, but they're so inconsistent that they're absolutely off the board, and they're not even on the spectrum. Broncos are inconsistent as well, but I feel like their measurability is a little more consistent, which sounds weird, but either way, we're just going to go with the Broncos in this game. If you were curious on the teams for the next game, there they are right there. It is the Bucks. Well, they just fell off the stand I had them on, so I'm not going to put them back up. The Bucks and the Saints are coming up next. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming off of a destruction of a win over the Chicago Bears, which I'm absolutely proud of them for. The Bears did not play well, but the Bruce Arians was able to, unlike Mike Zimmer, he kept his foot on the gas pedal, and they came out with a 38-3 win, I believe was the final score. They were already up, I think, like 35-0 or, oh man, something big at the half already. They were up 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. And, they put them away early, and they really gave no shot at coming back. The New Orleans Saints are coming off of a win on Monday night over the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, I did not share. The Bucs are currently second in the NFC with a record of 6-1. As for the other team, which is the Saints, I believe the Saints are sixth in the NFC with a record of 4-2. Honestly, I don't even know how much analysis I have to give for this game. It's Tom Brady. It's the Saints. I mean, it is the Saints. They have been a lot better this year. At the beginning of the year, they were super inconsistent, but they've really improved it since then. But let's be honest, how could you not bet with Tom Brady? So, I just have my reasoning for this game, honestly, I just have a feeling. I just simply have a feeling that the Bucs are going to win this one. So I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the New Orleans Saints. That's our next matchup right there. That is the Minnesota Vikings, which is my team, obviously, as you can tell by the background here, going up against the Dallas Cowboys this week. The Dallas Cowboys and Minnesota Vikings are both coming off of their bye week. The Cowboys are currently fourth in the NFC with a record of 5-1. They lost week 1 to the Bucs on the opening night, and now they have not lost since 5 straight wins and the bye week now. In the NFC East, the next team, like we talked about, is the Washington football team, and they are 2-5. So let's be honest. I mean, I get it. There's still a lot of the season left, but Cowboys have clinched the NFC East at this point. But Cowboys are really good. Amari Cooper is doing good. CeeDee Lamb doing good. This team has the number 1 offense in the NFL right now in points and in yards. Michael Gallup has been out since week 1, I believe, or week 2. I believe he was only in week 1, and he might make his return for this game, but it does not look likely. So it does not appear that he will be back for this game. As for the Minnesota Vikings, I could go on and on and on, but Mike Zimmer and how much I don't like him. The Vikings, they won in week 6. They won, but they should have won, but they also shouldn't have won because they had an 11-point lead or 10 or something, and then they should have been able to end the game, and then they couldn't. And it's not well. When a team looks like that, it is hard to find consistency, and there is no way that is going to be able to propel them to a win this week. So as much as obviously I want the Minnesota Vikings to win, it's also important noting that Vikings corner Patrick Peterson is on the IR, and he will be out for this game as well as the next 2 games after this. That is important. Second-year player Cameron Dantzler is going to be taking his place. Alongside Bashaud Breeland, who's been not great this year, but he has been better as of late. He was absolutely terrible to start the year, but now he's getting better. And Mackenzie Alexander, who has been having actually a solid year, returning to the purple. Honestly, though, it is hard to see the Vikings. I mean, no, it's at home, it's Halloween night, but let's be honest, there's no way I'm picking the Vikings. Talent level is significantly better for the Cowboys. They're coming in with 5 straight wins, and how can you honestly not like them at this point? Obviously, I'd love a Minnesota Vikings win, and I'm going to be cheering for them hard on Sunday night, but I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. It's hard not to pick them, but let's also note that I did pick the Panthers in Week 6, and the Vikings won. Well, we're going with the Cowboys in this game. Cowboys take the win over the Vikings. To close out today's video, which kind of seemed like a podcast, though. Let's be completely honest. It did. I actually, at least the first half of the video, I honestly ran like a podcast. I went super in-depth and stuff, which I normally don't do, and I said I wasn't going to do, but then I did, because that's such a me thing to do. We have the Giants and the Chiefs coming up. Monday Night Football. The New York Giants are currently sitting near the bottom of the NFC. They are coming in with a 14th in the NFC with a record of 2-5. And they really don't have any chance of the playoffs at this point. Let's be completely honest. They're coming off of a win over the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers kind of self-destructed in that game. Sorry. As for the Kansas City Chiefs, they're 11th in the AFC with a record of 3-4. They got destroyed by the Titans. This is crazy. Like I talked about earlier, I saw the Chiefs as front runners in the AFC at the beginning of the year, because let's be honest. How is any team going to beat... At the beginning of the year, it seemed like, how is any team going to beat the Chiefs? Or no team is going to be the favorite in the AFC until someone has the level of the Chiefs. And it seemed like no one did, but now teams have gotten there. And that's why the Chiefs are currently sitting at under 500 right now. They're not even in the playoff picture. As for this game, the Giants have been pretty bad this year. They did take a win last week, but they overall still have not been great to this point of the year. Chiefs have not been great also, but it is a home game in Kansas City, and it is Monday Night Football. I do trust Patrick Mahomes. Well, I don't trust Patrick Mahomes because he did not do great at all Sunday, but I do think that the Chiefs should be able to win this one back and begin clawing their way back if they can. Chiefs still have not had a great year, of course, but the Giants have not had a great year either. I am going to go with the Chiefs in this game. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for watching this. Obviously, it's definitely going to be a significantly longer video than normal. Thanks for bearing with it. Thanks for bearing with the fact that my flashlight turned off because my phone's probably at a significantly low battery right now, and it's been filming for a long time. Today was a really long shoot. It is currently 8 p.m. exactly. Remember, when did I say started 6:50 p.m.? Yeah, that's more than an hour ago I began filming this video. But thanks for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a good night. Skol Vikings. Let's beat them Cowboys on Sunday night. Peace out.